In the last video, we talked about the fact that Jesus, before he had taught his disciples how to pray, he began first by teaching them how not to pray. And there are two personalities that exemplified this idea of how people should not pray. One of them was the hypocrite who stands in the synagogues and in the street corners so as to earn the applause of men, to earn that reward from men. And Jesus said, this is how not people should pray. The second example he gave was that of the Gentiles who, by repetition and the use of so many words, they think that the prayers would be answered by so doing. And so today we are going to talk about how Christians should pray. One of the greatest privileges we have as believers is to call the creator of the universe, the sovereign ruler of all that is, the transcendent, holy God, to call him Father. That is the greatest privilege we have as believers, because we have been brought into his family. Through adoption, we have become his children. And to just come before him and call him Father, and to know that he listens to us and cares for us as a father, is just a great privilege. I would say it's just a great privilege. And so even when Jesus Christ begins to teach his disciples how to pray, he says to them, this then is how you ought to pray. Our Father, which art in heaven. And so there are a couple of things that this line alone carries that are very important even for the Christian life today. They carry so great and profound principles even for the Christian life today when it comes to the issue of prayer. First of all, the phrase "Our Father which art in heaven" differentiates God himself being a father from our earthly fathers. He is our Father who is in heaven. He is our Father who dwells in heaven, which is his throne, and the earth being his footstool. The Heavenly Father is distinct from the earthly father in the sense that he is the perfect Father. He is the Father who is different from our imperfect, our fallible fathers here on earth. And James rightly says this, that every good and perfect gift comes from the Father of lights. And this is what he says in James chapter 1 verse 17. He says, every good thing given and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or a shifting shadow. So even when our earthly fathers are may not be faithful, God remains faithful. Even when our earthly fathers fail to provide, God does not fail to provide. Even if our earthly fathers fail to protect, God does not fail to protect, because he is the perfect Father. He is the Holy Father. The first thing that comes to my mind when I see the phrase "our Father," I think of my earthly father and his responsibility towards me as a child. He is responsible for protecting me. He is responsible for providing for me. And he is responsible for raising me up and teaching me in the fear of the Lord. And so to think of the Heavenly Father in that way is to say that God is not only our maker, our creator, but he is also our provider. And to call upon him in prayer as Father is to say we are trusting him to provide for us in a similar but more perfect way that our earthly Father provides for us. Also, secondly, to address God as Father is to trust and believe that God will protect us in a similar manner that the earthly Father would protect us, but in a more perfect way. He is our protector. The psalmist says in Psalm 121 that I look to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from God, the maker of Israel. He does not sleep or slumber. He is the protector. He watches over us as a loving and caring Father. And so that is the picture that we get there as Father. But the next line says, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name. Or sanctified, holy is your name. The idea that God is Father also comes with the fact that he deserves our respect. I remember when I was growing up, it's a little bit different now. When I was growing up, you wouldn't address your father whilst standing it would be disrespectful. You would sit down or kneel when addressing him, because he is a father and he deserves the respect that he needs. But also in reference to God, we understand that God is the perfect Father, the Holy Father, who deserves our respect. Yes, he loves us, we love him, but he deserves the honor that is due to his name. His name is greater than any other name. He is the creator of the universe. He is the sustainer of our lives. And so he is our God. And so he deserves the respect and the reverence that we ought to give him. Sometimes I honestly cringe when I see people approach God in a very casual way. Your earthly father wouldn't like the idea that you approach him in a casual way. If it is in those days, you would easily be slapped or spanked for disrespecting, for approaching your father in a very disrespectful way. But if we can respect our earthly fathers in that way, how much more must we respect or give reverence to God as our heavenly Father? I know sometimes we take for granted that we are God's babies, We call God Daddy. The Apostle Paul says, the Spirit within us cries out, Abba, Father, Daddy, God, Father, But that does not negate the fact that we need to come to God in reverence and awe. He is a holy Father. Unlike our earthly fathers, he is holy and he is exalted and therefore deserves our reverence. So, what's our takeaway from the fact that God is our Father? One, that God is our protector. But secondly, that God is our provider. He is the one who provides for us our daily needs. He is the one who gives us our daily bread. He protects us from all manner of danger. He watches over us even when we sleep. He is a compassionate God. He's a loving Father. But he's also holy, high, and exalted, and so deserves our reverence and awe. Even when we approach him, we are to approach him with an attitude of reverence. So these are some of the principles that we take away from the first line of the Lord's Prayer. I hope you'll be blessed even as we go on exploring the Lord's Prayer in these short videos. God bless you.